that attends. Please be seated. A few awards that we would like to make. They weren't made the other day. So we would like to just start with that, please. And I ask following people to please come up on my left-hand side here. Wilton Ratton, Stephen Barker, now these are awards to Wilton. This is a squash re-award of colours to Wilton. Congratulations. The first time Stephen Barker has been awarded his squash colours. Then the following also please come up. Basil Matafis, Sean Barcher, Aidan Duplessis, Tony Patton, Garrett Stewart, Alan Graham, Mark Conlon, Trevor Roberts, Peter Campbell, Duarte Silva. Last night, those of you who were at the honours meeting will know that the band was awarded the cup for service to the school, and it's fitting that we have these awards to the band members. First of all, Basil Matafis, team award for the band. Then merit award to Sean Barcher. Merit award to Aidan Duplessis. Merit award to Tony Patton. Merit award to Garrett Stewart. Then full colours to Alan Graham. A re-award of colours to Mark Conlon. Re-award of colours to Trevor Roberts. And then band honours to Peter Campbell. And Duarte, band honours. Our valedictory service, I'd like to open the proceedings with the reading from Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verses 28 to 39. I think it has a special message for our standard 10s, for all of us, but I read this especially for the standard 10s this morning. We know that by turning everything to their good, God cooperates with all those who love Him, with all those that He has called according to His purpose. They are the ones He chose, especially long ago, and intended to become true images of His Son, so that His Son may be the eldest of many brothers. And this, what can we add? With God on our side, who can be against us? Since God did not spare His own Son, but gave Him up to benefit us all, we may could anyone accuse those that God has chosen, when God acquits, could anyone condemn? Christ chiefly, therefore, for the slaughter. This, neither death nor life, no life or death, nor any created thing can ever come between us and the love of God made visible in Christ Jesus our Lord. Let us pray.
Good morning, school. A special word of welcome to our parents who have joined, the parents of our matriculants who have joined us this morning in this, the last assembly that our matric pupils will attend. And a very, very warm and special welcome to our matrics. This is not the last assembly that you will attend. You will be back, I have no doubt in my mind. This is not the last time that a formal occasion will be at Brakpan High School. Far from it. Very simple but effective is that it's not over, ladies and gentlemen, until it is over. And with us this morning, I'd like to welcome Mr. Chapman, our guest of honour, our speaker for the day. I don't usually get this kind of reaction from the audience. Mr. Chapman is with us this morning to pay tribute to our matric. Our matric group, to me, is also an extremely special group. It is the first group at Brakpan High School that I had the privilege of placing into Standard 6 classes. This rather anonymous list derives from the primary schools, and one sits down and tries to picture where best this list of names will fit together. Well, we seem to have managed quite successfully. The group was placed in Standard 6, and I have watched them grow, both physically and intellectually, and above all, I've watched them grow as human beings, as people. And that is a truly gratifying experience. They have, for 5 years, been involved in the security, knowing that on a daily basis they have somewhere to come, somewhere to be that once there. They have been with a great deal of security. In the near future, the security is going to be removed from them in a most sudden way. They will be handed a piece of paper, and then that is it. No more security. Very shortly after that, they will possibly leave their homes. That is another form of security. But in these last 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure that the young matrics that we have with us today have in fact been dreaming. Perhaps one of their dreams has been some career, to be the managing director of a large corporation. A corporation in which they will direct everything. They will be the big boss. They will do and say as they please. That's not one day, that's now. You are the owners of large corporations, each one of you. That corporation is called you yourself Incorporated. You take enormous decisions on your own behalf. You run the finances. You hire and fire yourself. You decide what product you have. You decide how to market it. You have this enormous corporation at your disposal. I trust that this corporation is at this stage in skilled hands and not the product of unskilled labour. Without further ado, I would like once again to welcome you all here this morning. I'd like you very much indeed to enjoy our ceremony this morning in bidding our matrics a formal farewell.
We now call upon Mr. Chapman, someone I'm sure we all remember, for his tribute to the matric.
Morning, everyone. I am truly flattered, Standard 10, that you've asked me to come back this morning to speak to you. Driving to school this morning was almost like coming home. I know the school, I know the staff, but most of all, I know you and love you, Standard 10s. We've come a long way together. I remember when you started school here, Mrs. Dodkins taught you English while I was overseas. And I believe that Mrs. Dodkins was truly a hard act to follow. I believe that I had to prove myself to you. And eventually we grew, not always quietly, not always happily, but we did grow. And we grew together until today, the 23rd of October, 1991. And it is time to say goodbye. Today, 5 years after our first meeting, I stand before talented young men and women. It's not easy to say farewell, and it's not easy to say goodbye, especially when I think that perhaps some of us might never meet again. When I was at school in Standard 10, we were in an operetta, and the one verse of this song that always comes to mind, I'm not going to sing it, I'll use it as a form of parody. But the words went, "The years that fly so quickly by are years without regret, though far away that golden day when you and I first met. The hand of time some hearts may chill, but we have loved and always will. But there are dreams that haunt us still, things that we can't forget." And I'd just like to run through some of those things that we can't forget. I think probably the most embarrassing thing that happened to me at school, and yeah, that they know what I'm going to say, was when I sat on the desk. My hip still aches when I think of that day. And the thing that was most embarrassing was that I fell between 4 tables and couldn't get up. And I had to ask for help to please get up. And it was, the worst probably was that it was amidst cheers and laughter that I had to ask them. But it's certainly something I won't forget, and I doubt if you will. I think back of the band and the drill squad. Mark Conlon, who led that band so effectively. And a lot of these boys who made that drill squad such a success. I think back to Mr. and Miss Brakpan High. There are a number of you here today, and I hope I haven't left anyone out. Again, Mark Conlon. Tanya Setanich, who I remember that evening looked so beautiful. And I don't think one can remember Tanya without mentioning Denise. They are inseparable, And they don't shut up either. But ladies, I'd just like to say, I hope that your friendship is true and lasting, in the same way that Mrs. Graham spoke about last night. I think of the prefect's camp. And the thing which looms largest in my mind are Wilton Ratten's feet. I told him then and I'll tell him now that the size of his shoes is positively amazing. But I must admit, Wilton has grown up. He's become serious and earnest and at the same time full of fun. And again, I want to compliment you on your speech last night. It was fabulously well done. I'd like to mention some of the pupils, and I'm truly sorry that I cannot mention all of you. But I think particularly of Michelle King. With her change in attitude, if she carries on like that, I think she'll go places in the world. Lauren McClear, a star high jumper. Saran Fuller, the best all-round athlete that I've ever had the privilege to know. To Stacey McGill. Smiles and talks, and smiles and talks, and smiles. None of the greatest. But someone I've never written to call by his first name. And I don't understand why. What a part. Always had a very nice stuff. And an even longer story. They're all student. I want to encourage you to chase that against the 60%. Which means somehow combines academic excellence with humility. I think too, people would agree that it would be like chatting if I didn't have a quote. So I found one. It's T.S. Eliot. What we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. And I think today it is so very true. The end of matric is where you start the rest of your life. The start of your life is the end of school. At the end of that 12 years is certainly the start of a new phase. I believe that Brakpan High has given you the essentials for life. It has given you the basic tools that you will need for life. Use them. Grow and develop fully so that you will become, and I know you will become, responsible and caring adults able to be the children of tomorrow. In closing, I want to read something. It means a lot to me. It's very long. But I believe that it incorporates ideas and it certainly has information that is very, very important. Go placidly amid the noise and haste. And remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always, there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Interested in your own career, however humble, it is a real position in the changing fortune of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But it does not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of errors. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, But do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful and strive to be happy. And with those thoughts stand at 10, I bid you goodbye, and I bid you a very fond farewell.
Our Australian exchange student with the funny accent, born around us.
Mr. Kitchenbrand, teachers, special guests and friends. Yes, here I stand again, speech in hand, rotary blades on, addressing Brakpan High School. Except this time it's not words of, "G'day, how you doing?" but of bye. I can't believe it. The time has actually come for me to give my farewell speech. I never thought I'd see the day, but now that I do, I wish I could turn back the clock and give myself a few more months. Yes, time is a violent thief, and as a lot of you will agree, it only seems like yesterday that 1991 began. I remember my first day at Brakpan High School, wearing my bare rotary blazer, nervousness planted firmly on my face, sticking out like a Mexican in China, and speaking a language seemingly no one understood. Gee, 1 year seemed a long time back then, and now, all of a sudden, I have a measly 3 months left. Can 1 year really go that quickly? But as the saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. And well, I guess that's where my time's gone this year. Your country and its people has really impressed me, so much so that I'm planning to return to South Africa next year. Not only does South Africa have a beautiful landscape of the Eastern Transvaal, Kruger National Park and the Drakensberg, a great nightlife, Joburg, Wild Coast Sun and Sun City, but it's people like yourself that's captured my heart and soul. My first days of school were not as bad as they seemed, because you were all so friendly. My depression and homesickness were not as bad as they seemed, because you were willing to listen and to help. And my holidays were not as boring as they seemed, because you were all willing to take me from my loneliness. If only you South Africans really knew how special you are. Being an exchange student has been a unique experience. I could easily make a career of it. The once shy little girl from an Aussie one-horse town has grown into a confident young lady with many special memories. Being a Rotary exchange student is something to be proud of. Each day you meet and converse with new and different people, exchanging views on your country, your lifestyle and yourself. It opens up a whole new world of understanding, an opportunity only Rotary could have given me. Throughout my 9 months, I've stayed with many different families and lived the life of a typical South African. The families were not just Rotarian families, but normal, everyday families as well. Each offering me a unique insight to the South African way of life. If it is in any way possible that you can host an exchange student, then arrange to do it. Not only can you share what each of your countries has to offer, but you can build and nurture lifelong friendships and understanding. Your way of thinking will never be the same again. School, when I was actually here, was a major role in my year. I never thought I would say this, but I enjoyed school. The bold and bright uniform and the strict discipline was very hard to adapt to. But I've settled in nicely now, just when it's time to leave. And I consider myself a typical South African student. School has offered me a lot. Not only has it given me friends and taught me new things, but it's taken me places and shown me things I've never seen before. Like Grahamstown. Wow, what a week. 6 days spent in that gorgeous varsity town, attending lectures, introducing myself to everybody, and visiting Spur every night. Yeah, Grahamstown will have to be one of the best weeks, not only of my stay in South Africa, but of my entire life. I'll never forget the rugby day and the party the night before. Both were a new and wonderful experience. Camera happy that day, I took you all at your worst, but it's these memories that are the best. Let's face it, standard 9s and teachers are no match for matrics, and widespread bloodshed was inevitable. The pedal cart derby, now that was a totally new experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I just pedalled like a madman around that track, laughing my head off. The photos will always remind me of the fun and the pain of that day. My birthday. How could I forget that one? The first day I've ever gone to school on my birthday, and the last time too. All you saw was red and my white eyebrows sticking out. If you all sang me happy birthday, with me up here on stage. I never get embarrassed. Maybe that was a first. But I guess in retrospect it doesn't seem that bad. Embarrassment makes the memories worthwhile. And there's the event of the year, the matric farewell. Trying to fit into last year's dress and learning how to dance was almost a lost cause. But things worked out okay, and the night was a magic one, even better than my own last year. The photos and the video will always remind me of a Latin night in South Africa. These have been the main events in my life this year. Memories so vivid and golden they'll be impossible to forget. I was watching you matrics yesterday, frantically and happily signing away on shirts and in books, trying to express in words what you felt in your heart. It's hard. It's very hard. And I'm not one to have a talent for it either, but watching you touching each other with words made me realise how much a lot of you have touched my heart and soul. How can I ever thank you? You've given me a quality of life I never thought possible. My friends, my special friends, and you know who you are. I hope this Australian has touched your South African hearts and minds as much as you've touched mine. And I hope that our shared memories will keep our friendships alive forever. Thank you, Brakpan High, for hosting me this year. And thank you so much for the love and support you gave. I'll never forget you.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to thank Jodie for her speech and thank her for her presence here with us. As she says, it's words that touch our hearts, and she's touched our hearts in a way that I don't think we're going to forget her easily either. We've been involved in the exchange program since 1987 when our first exchange student, Ivan van Heerden, went out to Australia, and we had Brian from America to be with us for a year. So we've learned to grow with the exchange program. It wasn't new to us, it was new to Jodie. But she's coming here, and in all the exchange students we've had, we haven't had one that has participated as fully and has become one with us as much as Jodie has. I'm going to miss you. Saying that although she's sat all the exams at the school, she's not sitting the matric exam, but we do have a gold certificate for her, an honour certificate, because she has been so fully involved with the school. And I think you've really earned this. Well done.
Jodie, I haven't had the pleasure of teaching you, but you certainly have made an impression on our school. You're a lovely person, and you have given something to us, and we hope and we know that we've given something to you. And when you do come and visit South Africa again, do make sure that you come and see us. God bless you.
Next up is a song by some of the pupils. All those involved, please come forward.
Love that changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love that changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love can make the summer fly, or a night seem like a lifetime. It's love that changes everything. Now I tremble at your name. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Love that changes everything. Days are longer, words mean more. Love that changes everything. Pain is deeper than before. Love will turn your world around, and that world will last forever. Yes, love changes everything, brings you glory, brings you shame. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Off into the world you go, planning futures, shaping years. Love bursts in and suddenly all our wisdom disappears. Love makes fools of everyone. All the rules we make are broken. It's love changes everyone. Live or perish in His flame. Love will never, never let you be the same. Love will never, never let you be the same.
For the headmaster's address.
I'm sorry, San Etienne, that I haven't been able to talk to you enough this year about your work, your application, your studies. I've had the opportunity to do this a couple of times, and I know that it's had some effect. You studied during the October break, and you've been studying very hard. I can see the rings under your eyes, and I know that you're going to get 100% marks. Well done. I've been concerned about some of the mathematics results. I was talking to Mrs. Van Heeren. I don't know why mathematics presents such a problem. Seems as though you should all be able to manage it. But I was reminded of the young chap who failed his mathematics hopelessly at the end of his standard 10. And everybody sort of shrugged their shoulders and said, oh, poor old Joe, probably end up cheating his speech, if you can't do mathematics. And then, 25 years later, they had a reunion. And there were doctors and lawyers among these guys, and accountants, and business people. And Joe came to the reunion in a Rolls Royce, shut the ribbon, and they were standing around in the hall and chatting to one another. And one of the guys said, Joe, you were such a dropout at mathematics. How did you manage this? And he said, well, he had a good teacher like Mrs. Van Gieden, teaching you mathematics. And he says he just charged 3% more on every object that he sold. He went into business and he charged 3%. Yeah, he said, I bought an object for 10 Rand and I sold it for 30 Rand. I see some of you haven't quite put that way. Okay, the point is that if you can't do mathematics, don't worry too much about it. You can still be a great success. Just charge 300% on everything that you start to see. Right, St. Kings, such really nice things have been said about you so far. I mean, all kinds of things that I was going to say to you. But in reality, what I want to say to you is that the matric group, you have contributed to Brakpan High School by your personalities. I thank you for that. It is amazing how very fast those 5 years have gone. And really, what have you given to me? I was thinking of you as personalities. And I'm not going to mention you by name. But these are some of the things that you've taught me. Some of the things that will always remind me of you. You reminded me how much I still have to learn. Because within every one of you, there's something unique and something special. You've taught me to get on quietly with my work without complaining. Some of you do that excellently. Some of you have worked very, very hard and have persevered and you've achieved. The majority of you, and in fact I think all of you, are courteous, polite young people. And I think that's a wonderful quality. And I know that you're going to take it with you into the world that you gave into. But above all, so many of you have taught me to smile. I'm going to miss you along the corridors. And as you come along, it's good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Milton. Good morning, Saran. Good morning, Samantha. Good morning, and smiling and being there, being present. I shall miss the mischievous sparkle in the eyes of some of you. It's amazing how quickly you get into line when I come around the corner. And even though you've sometimes sounded as though we've been moaning about your hair and your uniform and your shoes and your stockings and your socks, behind it all we've seen you as people, as your unique selves. You're going to, as the song says here this morning, off into the world you go, planning future years, shaping years. I would like to see you in the future. But it's so sad that very often you lose contact with the school loses contact with you. And saddest of all is that you lose contact with your friends. So often I've encountered standard 10s in the years gone by, and I said, have you kept in contact? No, I don't know where so-and-so is. We were great buddies at school, and we've lost contact with each other. Mrs. Graham last night was saying something about friendship, which I thought I was just repeat because I thought it's a wonderful thing. That when you go out into the world, and you feel very often alone, but you've got friends and you've kept contact with each other. It's such a tremendous source of strength. Don't lose contact with each other. If I had to ask each of you what is the thing that you're going to miss most when you leave school, you're going to say, it's my friends. It's the good times you've had together. It's being able to sit down in the playground and chat and talk about things and go out together. Don't lose that. Keep in contact, make an effort. Find out where your friends are going. Write, phone, visit, see each other. And you'll find there's a tremendous source of strength for you. I'd like to leave you with a few words. It's about risking, and it's about taking a chance. And you're going to be out there taking many chances. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To cry is to risk appearing sentimental and soft. To reach out to another is to risk involvement. To show up and expose your feelings is to risk exposing your inherent self. To place your ideas, your dreams, your desires before people is to risk their loss. To love is to risk you might not be loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To show strength is to risk showing weakness. To do is to risk failure. The greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, gets nothing, has nothing, and is nothing. He may avoid suffering, pain, sorrow, but he does not learn. He does not grow, he does not live, he does not love. He has sold, forfeited freedom, integrity. He is a slave, chained by safety, locked away by fear. Because only a person who is willing to risk, not knowing the result, is free. Be adventurous, be prepared to take the chance, be prepared to risk. And you must never give up. And just on a variation of an old theme, I'd like to leave you with this. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is fair with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must never quit. Matriculants, a blessing for you and your parents, those who are leading us now. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. God bless you.
To dream the impossible dream, to right the unrightable wrong, to fight the unbeatable foe, to run where the brave do not go. This has been made possible for each of us sitting here today by the competent staff seated behind me. They gave each of us support and guidance, as well as building up our confidence whenever they could. Mr. Kitchenberg, I want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication, and the thought of someone who has complete faith in us and will never give up on us is very encouraging. Thank you for not only assisting our prefect group, me as an individual too. Mr. Chapman read my speech because he mentioned falling off the desk, and I was going to do that too, but I suppose I'll do it next. Not only did Mr. Chapman try to teach me how to spell, which is one of my great problems, but he also stressed that romantic novels such as Mills and Boons are not suitable reading material for lovely young ladies. Mr. Chapman always spoke with his hands, and there was a particular day when we all saw arms and legs. Because as Mr. Chapman sat down one day on a chair, the chair collapsed under his enormous weight, and legs and arms went flying everywhere. Everybody laughed so much that no one went to see if he was hurt. And he was very upset to see how little concern we had for him. And maybe that's why he deserted us just to become a deputy principal. But Miss Brown filled his shoes very well in a ladylike, composed way of teaching. I seem to agree on one point that Miss Brown has made clear to all of us, and that is, men are the inferior sex. What could I say? Men are nothing but outgrown children. Mrs. Jarvis seems such a sweet and loving person, but one day she got so cross with us, she shook so violently her glasses fell and her pulls broke. Well, thank you, ma'am, for passing the words of wisdom on us. Mevrouw Nel en mevrouw Stanton, ek weet dit was nie maklik om vir 'n skoolsuities Afrikaans te leer nie. Baie dankie vir al die moeite en tyd wat julle aan ons spandeer het om ons Afrikaans taalgebruik te verbeter. I know that maths is not a popular or easy subject to teach to us, but Mrs. Winter and Mrs. Van Heerden put in so much effort to make things easier for us, although it wasn't an easy task to get all those formulas stuck into our heads. Even though not many of us get A's in biology, we must agree that Mrs. Duncan's classes were always most interesting, and that this is a teacher with a great sense of humor, as she could always take a joke and be ready with a very sarcastic remark to put you in place. This painter, or should I say Speedy Gonzales, as I've never met a teacher who can cover as much work in one period as Miss Painter can. Well, at least in the go forward. Thank you, Miss Painter. Accountancy has always been a challenging subject, and so have the teachers. I had to put up with my mother. Thank you, Mrs. Fuller and Mrs. Cook, for your creative ways in which you taught us accountancy. We will never forget all the good things are debited and all the bad things are credited, because this is one point that was really stressed in the classes. Although I haven't been personally taught by Mrs. Moda, I understand that she nearly burnt down the class one day by setting alight a gas which had spread across the whole desk, and that none of her experiments ever worked. Thank goodness somebody did them before her. Mr. Stott, as I understand, you color code your moods because when he wears his red jersey, his mood varies from one extreme to the next. 1 minute he was giving his classes tap dancing lessons, and the next moment he'd find him 20 cents for every nasty comment I made. And I would like to quote Mark Condon, he was thrown against the wall when he was bored. thank you for being such a well-spirited teacher. I haven't had the privilege of being taught by Mr. Taylor Broom, but I hear that when the BE classes had finished playing hide and go seek, as I never knew which classroom to go to, the lessons were very educational. He taught them about insurance as well as reinsurance and stressed the fact that Dolly Parton was a wise woman to take advantage of this. I've never seen Mr. Taylor Broom blush, but he blushed when he heard these words. Bless you, sir, you're wonderful. Will you go to the matric for a while with me? Well, sir, I'm sure you left someone devastated when you said no. I'd also like to thank you for assisting our prefects during the year. Mr. Henning, thank you for your dedication in helping all the typing girls. It couldn't have been easy because working with a group of outspoken women can't be very easy. Overall, the teachers have been good sports, but they were a bit sour when our girls' netball team beat them, despite the fact they cheated. And they blamed the loss of the absence of Mr. Chapman and Mrs. Kruger. Well, you should do better next year, seeing that we're all leaving. I must say our teachers have been quite busy lately, as congratulations have already been said to Mr. Chapman, but Mrs. Stanton and Mrs. Jarvis are awaiting their new arrivals into their families. The nights are going to seem so much longer, and you'll be awake most of the time. But stick it out, as your child might turn out as wonderful as our matric group is. I've chosen a quotation for each standard, and I hope that it has some meaning to you. Standard 6s, where you stand. A man rude and wild is known at your age. All I can say to you is that while you're young, enjoy yourselves. Make use of your abundant energy. Don't grow up too quickly, because before you know it, you'll be writing your final exams, and people will expect you to behave as young adults. You certainly are a lively bunch, and I hope you carry this enthusiasm through your years. Standard 7. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruits are sweet. A lot of you must dislike school, because I know I did in Standard 7, but we are living in such a competitive world where the more qualifications you have on paper, the better chance you have of getting a good job. Perseverance is the only advice I can give you, and once you have finished studying, you will be rewarded with your first paycheck, and with that comes your independence. Standard 8. Marriage is like life in this, that it is a field of battle and not a bed of roses. Yes, every one of you are married at this point in time, and your bride and your groom is Brakpan High School. As marriage is not easy, so the next 2 years of you are not going to be easy for you. You're going to get tired of learning and listening to all the boring teachers that you will want to run away. Next year you're going to be very busy with fundraising, exams, and please don't forget your social lives. But as each marriage must yield some good, so school will prepare you for the world outside. Standard 9 is not an easy year. Good luck. Standard 9s. Each one of you are fine individuals and worth fighting for. So often, when you're under pressure or you're feeling lonely, don't allow others to manipulate you or your values. That doesn't mean that from now on you must walk with blinkers on, but you must stand up for what you believe in and never hide your true feelings and personality. I know that it is hard nowadays for each of us to be ourselves at all times because we've got our images to think about. And we're so scared of what others are going to say about us. Don't suppress yourselves, but be natural at all times, and people will start respecting you for who you really are. Tricks. The year started off with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm when we received our new standard sixes. They were all young and small, and it was hard to believe that any of us were even that cute. The next event on the agenda was the inter-house sports, and once again, Fife ran away with all the honours. That's my house, I Village Free State. The inter-high gala followed, and I'm proud to say that our school, as small as we are, acquitted ourselves superbly. The inter-high athletics meet came and went, and before we knew it, the first term had already passed. The next term was full of the usual activities: netball, soccer, hockey. We as a matric group are very competitive. The standard 10 in East outdid themselves at the go-kart derby as they received the trophy for the best dressed house as well as the most laps completed. But note our class team, JB. We won the inter-netball class tournament. After a rugby match against the other standard 6 and another standard 10 class. Our prize was a cake, and we each got a chocolate. But unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to eat this cake, and this was just before the holidays. So we put the cake in the fridge, and about 5 weeks later, we decided to feed it to the staff. I'm sure they all had diarrhea for about 2 weeks. Even though our boys didn't win the rugby last year, they did a very good job of it this year when they thrashed the standard 9s. However, our matric girls won both the soccer matches last year against the standard 10s and this year against the standard 9s. The night arrived that the girls had been planning since standard 6, the matric farewell. It was a glamorous evening. With the hottest curry I've ever eaten in my life. But it was enjoyable. Thank you, standard 9s, for all your hard work and dedication. Then the anticlimax hit us as we started to prepare for our prelim exams. Now once again we find ourselves preparing for our last step of our schooling career, our finals. Now for your quotation. From all the saddest words of the tongue or the pen, the saddest of these. Might it be? I want to wish you all well. I hope each of you will put in that extra bit of effort, so that the day we fetch our results, none of us will say, I could have done better. I might have been accepted into varsity. I spent the extra hour. Okay, well, now that I've finished preaching to you, of course, as boys and girls grow up, they become aware of each other, and so did our matric body amongst each other. In standard 7, we had quite a few couples. I wonder if you'll remember all these little love affairs. Denise and Alcus. Melanie and Sean. Warren and Joanne. Randy and Manuel. Athena and Pana. You should remember Pana. Peter and Tanya. And Carol and Leonard. It started to fade out ever. I think the true personality started to show. In standard 8, Manuel and Rensha, Daryl and Denise, Tanya and Roy, and Tanya and Mark. Standard 9, Julie and Roy, Mandy and Walton, Gina and Ashley, Gina and Shaw, and Nikki and Martin. Standard 10, Mandy and Walton still going strong, Justine and Roy, Jackie and Sean, Mark and Tanya, and Wendy and Alton. These were our love couples amongst our standard 10s from standard 7 to check. Gina and Renee, We wish you the best of luck for your year overseas as exchange students. I hope you will be great ambassadors, not only for South Africa, but for Brakpan High too. Joe, I'm sure you'll enjoy your stay here, and I'm glad to hear that you're going to come back and visit us. To our own Chippendale, or so he likes to think of himself. Manuel. He's up on the icebreaker. And Daryl, don't even bother going to gym anymore because your chest will never be as big as mine. So. I must agree with Walter that we do have a few slow Greeks instead of 10. But Julie takes the cake. Joke. And about 2 days later, she'll come to you. I got it! But I understand it runs in the family as well. And everybody, please take a special note that when our tricks walk out, please duck, because Athena and Deb walk out with their nose. Mike Tyson became a member of our geography class, as well as many other jokes. We all know our local comedian, Warren, and I'm sure the prefix or Miss Painter won't forget you in the fruiters meal. And if ever anyone thought Warren spoke a lot, he had nothing on Scott. This boy always had something to say, although he irritated us most of the time. I know we'll miss you in your trips next year. And there was never a dull moment in Mrs. Jarvis's classroom. With Elton and him combining, they really gave her a hard time. I'd like to say thank you to Walton, Mandy, Marcus, and all the prefects who supported me and did their jobs, which weren't always thrilling, but they did it with enthusiasm and determination. Those of you who know me know that I get attached to people very quickly. Because I even cried when I had to say goodbye to Mr. Chapman. I'm sure you all remember that. So this is quite hard for me to say. And thank you. To people who have become okay, I'm recovered. To people who've become like family to me, some for 5 years and other for 12. We're all going to be so busy with our lives next year. Either study, working, or doing your military service. We won't see much of each other, but please try and make an effort to stay in contact. But a special thank you must be said to someone who is very special to me. She has supported me. Been not only my friend, but a second sister to me for many years of my life. We met in nursery school at the age of 4. Mandy. Thank you for being such a great friend. which will summarize everything I've said, just in case you fall asleep. People don't talk much about the love friends have for one another. Oh, we talk about liking friends. But some friends add so much to our lives that life just isn't strong enough to describe both. You as a matric group are that kind of special friend to me. I never get tired of your company, and I can always be myself with you, confident in you, dependent on you. So I just thought I'd let you know that I don't just like you, I love you for being such a great friend, person, and support. And I know that I'll never forget you. May God bless and keep you all, and may all your fondest dreams come true. Thank you for letting me serve you as I keep going.
This just comes to you and the Tricident to wish you well and good luck in the forthcoming examination.
Wilson answering.
Elaine and just come forward. This one, man. Wilton and Saran are 1991 head boy and girl. Are going to now just hand over the flag, the South African flag, which will be worn by Duarte and Elaine. Those of you who were not at the honours evening last night, Duarte has been chosen as the head boy, Elaine as the head girl, and our deputy head boy, Andre Snyders, deputy head girl, Erin Uchiani. And I'll be badges, please. If you could just pin those on. Thank you.
Do something quickly. Peter. Peter. And Shoni doesn't know.